Welcome to the Brant Phillips Show, the show dedicated to results. Now, here's Brant.
Welcome, everybody, to the Brant Phillips Show, the show dedicated to results. So today we're going to talk about greed and laziness. Greed and laziness. So the reason we're talking about this today is I was talking to a new coaching student the other day, and I shared with them something that I heard many years ago when I was first diving into the world of being an entrepreneur. And I heard a speaker say that there's only two things that stand in the way of your success. And those two things are your greed and your laziness. Your greed and your laziness are the only two things that stand in the way of your success. So I want to dive into those and talk about greed and laziness and how they can be things that actually there's a certain aspect that are useful about those characteristics that we all have inside of us, but most times and the way that they manifest themselves is that they prevent our success. So when we talk about greed and laziness, yes, they are perceived as flaws in our human character. And they're often seen independently and separate from one another, but they're really kind of intertwined into our human psyche. And we see them in all ranges of the social spectrum, from the homeless out on the street to the incredibly ultra uber mega rich and politicians and things like that. We see this characteristic in all areas of society, and like I said, the entire social spectrum. So if you dig into like a deep psychological and sociological type of study, you'll probably read that our greed, the want and desire to have more than we need comes from our ancestors not having enough food and wanting to have warmth in the winter and things like that. So I'm certain there's truth to that. And you would probably read about how our laziness stems from some of our ancestors and the amount of time that they had to work and the need to rest and to recover and recuperate in preparation for the next harvest and going out and doing long sustained work for long periods of time. So as we all know, we live in the modern day area, and some of these manifestations of why we have these characteristics just don't really apply to today's day and age. So from the entrepreneurial perspective, we're going to put on our entrepreneurial lens, and we're going to look at why or how greed and laziness manifest themselves into affecting your results as an entrepreneur, as a business person, perhaps as a real estate investor. And so let's look at this. So laziness, we're going to tackle that one first. That can show up in just a number of different ways, as we know. Plain and simple. For those of you who've been following me for any amount of time, worked with me, as a student or one of my programs, that we say it all the time. Like, if you're not going to do the work, you're not going to get the results. Like, plain and simple. So in order to create success, you have to be willing to do the work. So obviously, if there is no work being done, there is no output, there's going to be no results. But a lot of times, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as just doing work, like doing A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3, rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over. But that is a part of it. Just a lack of consistency. Because you'll see some people that will fly out of the gates and Like they will want to do like a million and one things in a day or in a week or perhaps in a month, but then boom, they're burned out. So it wasn't that they were lazy, it was that they hit a wall and they failed to plan properly. They were lazy in their planning. They were lazy in their mindset. They were lazy in their game plan. And they really failed to plan. So then they really planned to fail, as we've all heard before. So laziness manifests itself in a lot of different ways, not just in someone going out and doing the work, but really cultivating a plan that is sustainable and that can be built and achieved over time. This is a really big one. Sometimes it's the laziness just to go in and have the conversations that you need to have, to do the little things, not just the big things. People think that they want to look at the end, right? And I know that that's where we begin when we're building a business or building a plan. You begin with the end in mind, then you reverse engineer it. But people don't really see how important those little steps are, not just in the beginning, but on a daily basis. Like on a daily basis, you know, I think a lot of my one-on-one students for sure that kind of come in and see behind the scenes on what we do in terms of marketing for our businesses on a daily basis, like their jaws drop a lot of times because there's a lot of work involved in marketing plans, for an investing business, to market to find motivated sellers with postcards and letters and pay-per-click and SEO, email marketing, all those types of things, and what we do for our construction clients and et cetera, et cetera. That there's a tremendous amount of work involved, but it's the difference. I think that from my perspective, in their perspective, is a lot of times that if you don't have that burning energy and fire inside of you, that you are going to get quote unquote lazy. Like you're like, oh my God, I've got to do this work or I've got to do these things. And if that's the perspective and the lens that you're looking at, the work that has to be done and created and achieved, then forget about it. You're going to be done before you get started. But whenever your perspective is that I get to do this work to create this result, like it changes everything. So, those of you who know me know that I love what I do. Like I can work from sun up to sundown every damn day and not get tired. That being said, I do not do that, but I love what I do. So the work that is involved in a business, like laziness typically is not a factor, except when it becomes a factor. Now, there is times when I find myself resistant to do work, resistant to step in and like, hey, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. When I find myself resisting things that need to be done, that is a huge flag. That is a huge flag for me, because that means like, look, Brant, like you need to look at this and you need to get someone else to do this, right? And so this isn't saying that you're going to have all these pieces of your business that you should automatically love to do and you should be inspired to do them. No, that's not the case. Whenever you have these instances or these certain things in your business that you don't feel called to do, you don't feel inspired to do, you don't feel enthused to do, like you need to find a way to effectively outsource those things and have them done by someone else, by a team member, by a contractor, whatever it may be, to make sure that they're done so your bottom line is getting taken care of and you can focus on the things that you feel inspired to do. And just look at the things in your business that are showing up that you know that you need to do, but you're not doing because of laziness. and then dig a little deeper, like, why am I being lazy towards this item? Why am I not marketing? Why am I not generating more deal flow? Why am I not having conversations with prospective clients, prospective lenders, prospective partners? What is it that you feel quote unquote lazy about in your business? And then just dig deeper. Is it because you don't desire to do that work? Is it because it should be outsourced to someone else? Is it, that there's some other things in your life, possibly your nutrition, other responsibilities, you're too busy, you need to create some space so that you have that energy and time to devote to those areas. Okay? Because laziness, when it's showing up in whatever form and whatever matter in your business, is going to prevent your success. It's going to prevent your success. Hey, this is Brant, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. If you're at a place in your life or your business where you just feel stuck, or you just don't know what actions to take to help you get unstuck or onto the path to creating the results you truly desire, please take a few minutes and go to my website, brantphillips.com. There's some really valuable resources and information that may be able to help you out. And if you're interested in really speeding up results with the help of a coach and mentor and adding true accountability and guidance to your life and business, please reach out to me from my website as well at brantphillips.com, or going directly to www.brantphillips.com/coaching. Now let's get back to the show. So the other thing I want to talk about is greed. Let's dive into this. So the most common way that I've seen greed play out in my own business and in students, some of the students of mine, and just people in the market in general that I've worked with or seen, is we see this all the time with real estate, with overpricing a piece of real estate. You look at comps, you look at all your numbers, and you're like, this house should be a $200,000 house based on everything I've seen, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on the market at $250 because I need the money, or this is a wish and a prayer, and let's see what happens. So while I'll admit that there are times in the real estate market and there are times in business where you can shoot a little bit higher. Yeah, like there's times to swing for the fences, but those times are very rare. They're not the rule, they're the exception of the rule to the rule. The 80-20 rules, those are 20% of the time, maybe 80% of the time, you need to be going by the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Your numbers will tell a story. So what greed basically comes down to is expecting something for nothing, or wanting the return to exceed the true value. Wanting the return to exceed the true value. And if you look at it, greed and laziness, this is how you can see how greed and laziness are tied together. So the times when I've had properties sit on the market the longest are why? Because I've overpriced them. I've overpriced them based on the current market that we're in. And that's it. So, when it comes down to greed, like whenever you are putting out a product or a service or a piece of real estate, whatever it is into the marketplace, don't expect so much sometimes. Like, expect what the market value is. Understand that there's times where we can take our shots and go a little higher, but the market is going to tell you what your piece of real estate is worth. The marketplace is going to tell you what your products and services are worth. And it's a destructive behavior, really, that can show up, that tells you that, let me try to get more for this. Let me try to get more for this. And you will end up so many times costing yourself more time and money. The easy correlation is with a piece of real estate that sits when it could have been sold. You could have already been on your second or third or fourth property but you're sitting here like wanting, hoping, being lazy really that this property is going to sell for 10, 20, 30% more than the true value is, when you could really be working, once again, doing work, putting out effort just to create more value in the marketplace by doing more marketing, creating more networks, creating more deal flow, to do more deals and putting out more true value into the marketplace. But your greed has stopped you on wanting something for nothing, and so once again, just look at that. Like, where are you being greedy? Where are you being greedy in your life, your business? Where are you expecting more than what the true value is? Where are you expecting to receive more than what you've really put into something? All right. And so just look at each of these areas and just ask yourself the question, where am I being lazy and where am I being greedy? How am I being greedy? And that's it, my friends. If you can detect and pinpoint where you're being greedy and where you're being lazy in your life and your business, as soon as you can pinpoint those areas, you focus on them, you improve them, you course correct, and you will soon be back on track to creating results. So once again, I love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I thank you for listening to the show. And until next time, I look forward to helping you create the results you desire in your life and your business.
You've been listening to The Brant Phillips Show. To listen to past shows, get updates on future shows, and find other resources or information about coaching, visit BrantPhillips.com. You've been listening to The Brant Phillips Show. To listen to past shows, get updates on future shows, and find other resources or information about coaching, visit BrantPhillips.com.